People, Deluded are back again. Special guest settings. It's not every day we got the Black Ornstein, you know. When he's got interviewing all these guys and flying out, he's got time for us. You saying, my boy?
I'm good. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Apart from this Gyokeres business, I'm good, man. I'm good. How's the summer been?
Busy, as you said, under 21s Euros, and I've not actually been able to have a holiday yet. So
It's part of the grind, bro.
So yeah, hopefully before the season actually starts, I'll get a week or so off. But no, summer's been all right, to be fair. So yeah, all good.
You know what's gonna happen the minute you go on holidays, when everything kicks off with the Eze and Javi Simmons and this one and that one and the third, man. But you deserve a rest, man. You're working around the clock. I'll ask you, like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't something I'm planning on asking you, but you mentioned the under 21s championships. Yeah, and you're someone like myself that obviously loves the academy. What do you make of Nwaneri's role during that victory? Obviously, big him up.
Yeah. So I think it was one where going into the tournament, he was obviously the youngest England player there. He was 18. I think the next closest player was Job Bellingham before he left for Dortmund. So for me, I was just kind of interested to see how he'd be used tactically more than anything. So Carsley, really, really interesting coach, I think. I think most people found out about that when he took charge of England seniors doing
the Football Manager thing, just giving everybody a cap,
man. But also, I mean, at the last 23s Euros, he was playing Angel Gomez as a 6. So he's really, really, really interesting coach and
quite innovative.
Yeah, in the group stages, he was using Ethan as like one of 2 10s, which I think he probably worked better off the right because he's more natural coming into his left foot. But then there was a game where he played as a left-sided attacking midfielder, and that was quite interesting too. As the kind of tournament progressed, England, they got more fluid, but that was with Ethan getting less minutes, so he didn't see as much game time. But I wasn't too kind of disheartened by that. I think he's someone who's going to have time to shine. And yeah, I think it's just a nice experience for him to have being out there as well with Omari Hutchinson as well, who's
another
one, like a really good friend of his. So yeah, I think it would have been a positive experience for him, even if he didn't start every single game.
What do you make of him getting into the under 21s initially? Because, you know, obviously he at one point it felt like when he was playing for Arsenal, Tuchel was kind of in 2 minds about calling him up. And obviously, primarily he's jumped up the England levels because he's been playing for Arsenal on a regular basis. Like, what do you make of that? Like, it's really been a good season from him on the face of it.
Yeah. So I remember at that moment where I guess it was the March internationals. Coming up to his 18th birthday, and it could have been both him and Miles going to the seniors, if we're being real. But at that time, I actually remember looking back through, I guess, different young players and how they were kind of introduced into the senior fold. So you're looking at Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen, Bukayo Saka, Jude Bellingham. They were all quite different cases. So Rooney, I think, had 1 game with the 21s. Same with Michael Owen. Saka, I think, maybe had 1. Kobe Minu had none. So I think that kind of helps me contextualize it in the fact that everyone's path is different. So I didn't really feel like, I guess, putting pressure on that being the moment for him to make that jump up to the seniors. And as I said earlier, I think Lee Carsley's a really good coach for
very
him.
Good coach.
He's someone that encourages, I guess, not coaching too much. I remember
freedom within a framework type of thing.
Exactly. So, and I think Ethan's at his best when it looks like he's playing with freedom. So yeah, I think that time there with the 21s, it probably benefits him, and not having the pressure, I guess, of being in that senior squad as well.
I think you're bang on the money. Like, I'm indirectly going to ask you. Well, I don't need to ask you or any Arsenal fan or myself. Like, we're all happy Nwaneri signed a new deal. It's beautiful, not just him, but also Miles Lewis-Skelly. But obviously, he probably would have signed a new. Well, we would have tried to get him to sign a new deal, even if he didn't kick a ball in the first team, owing to his potential. But not to talk about finances, but I'm sure he got a lot more money than he could have got because he got into the first team. You mentioned it, the England under-21s, and he's gone from being a peripheral on on the peripheral of Arsenal's first team to being a genuine option and a genuine first team player. And that's all come via playing football. Right now, on the face of it, I think he's got 37 odd appearances for Arsenal, which I'm sure he would have bit your arm off if you asked him this time last year. Give or take, could have got a bit more football, could have got a bit less, rumours of carrying an injury and whatnot. But what do you make of his first team football? Not just this season, but like the season that's just gone, and obviously moving forward, because it's quite congested in the areas he's looking to play in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So I think season just gone, as you mentioned there, 37 games is probably more than anyone expected at the start of the season. But then it's all about perception because when I think people look back, they will only remember the last month or so where he wasn't playing as much. And even for me, I had to kind of catch myself out of that kind of way of thinking because I was writing something and I was looking back through his moments, and there's so many where he's the standout player. And I'm not just talking about he's had a moment, but the whole game, he's the one that's pushing Arsenal forward.
Leicester away comes to mind,
That's the one. That's the one. And in that game, I remember Mikel Arteta speaking about him afterwards, saying he was the player that had the biggest threat. And I know Leicester got relegated, but still, like for a 17-year-old at that time to be carrying the most threat, he hit the crossbar and hit the post. One with his left foot, one with his right foot, and then assisted the opener for Marino. I think moments like that can't be forgotten because it shows you just the level of player that this is. So yeah, I think from last season's perspective, you can't underplay all the achievements that he had throughout the year just because he played a little less as the season ended. And on that as well, it kind of reminded me what I was thinking at the time, which was, wow, this guy at the time he's actually playing more than Saka was at his age.
It's an interesting comment. I didn't know that.
So Saka wasn't really playing as a 17-year-old for Arsenal's first team. And I think when you look at how, especially I've been quite vocal about wanting Saka to be arrested for the past 5 years.
You're not alone, everyone.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of needs to have that same grace with Ethan.
And Max Dowman and the rest of them.
Exactly.
It's never going to stop, bro. You know this industry now.
Yeah, because when you look at Ethan as well, last season, first Premier League start was on New Year's Day against Brentford. Then he had another start 3 days later, but got injured and came off at half-time, was out for 3 weeks. So at the end of the day, even though he's 18, people might class that as an adult, he's still a maturing guy. So that's on last season. In terms of this season coming, as you mentioned, congested area of the pitch, I think
must have World Cup dreams as well. His boys in the England squad.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think if you're looking at areas of the pitch for England as well as Arsenal, that's congested as well because you've got people like Morgan Rogers, Morgan Gibbs-White, Eberechi Eze. So it would be tough, but hopefully
that's to get in off the winger thing.
Possibly for England, but I think for Arsenal, you're probably going to be seeing him more centrally. And with that being said, I'd actually like to see Mikel Arteta be a bit more creative in how he...
I love this sort of talk. Be specific, man. Football manager.
In how he kind of sets up his midfield, because I feel like... And it's a word that I think we've actually used before together in terms of players coexisting. Not having to be kind of one or the other. And I think we probably used it in terms of Smith Rowe and Ødegaard.
Such a long time ago.
But I think it'd be the same with Nwaneri and Ødegaard. Not every game, But in some games where, those ones where Arsenal are up against a low block, even a mid block, and you don't
six
need,
rotating mids.
Yeah, you don't need both a Declan Rice and another holding midfielder in there. I think those are games where you can really unleash your midfielders, like we've been used to over the years at the Emirates. So with that being said, I think there could be, I guess, room for Ethan as maybe a left-sided attacking midfielder, like the way Carsley used him. Last pre-season, he played as the left 8 against Manchester United and got an assist for Gabriel Jesus. And that's because Ødegaard actually went over to that side and created an overload. So I think there's ways these players can play together. They're good at football. There's no reason to just restrict them to certain areas of the pitch, in my opinion.
No, I think you're right, man. And I think the crucial thing you said there is, I think whether it's, I know we're screwing the conversation towards Nwaneri and indirectly you name dropped Ødegaard, but I think that's kind of something I would say more in game or the occasional games that you want to see Arteta add a bit of variety, whether it's Ødegaard, Nwaneri, and Zubamendi, or Rice is in the mix, or everybody who's close to a 10 on that pitch. For me, with Nwaneri, I think he's got to take a bit of a leaf out of Saka's book. By all means, have in your mind where you want to play in that, but end of the day, go and get minutes. I couldn't tell you if Miles Lewis-Skelly genuinely sees himself as a left back and not a centre mid, but you don't get that opportunity and run with it at left back. You ain't got this big money deal. You're not in the England squad. You're not doing what you've done, right? And I think where I look at Nwaneri, the only things that you kind of struggle with, it's not isolated to Nwaneri, it's what you should have, like consistency. You kind of mentioned that as well. Like he started one week and then the other. Obviously, physically playing men's football week in, week out, it's going to take a toll on a 17, 18-year-old boy before you even consider like the puberty kind of factors around that. So it is what it is. I mean, clearly he backs himself. I'm happy the club kept him. Clearly he backs himself to get football, believes this is the best part for his development. I do feel like long term, I am watching central midfield because I'm not saying everyone's old, but I don't think, Marino's not exactly young. Norgard's not going to be here forever per se.
Yeah.
I am thinking pathways will naturally open up, but I do want to see him exposed to football. And you made a crucial point, which goes even above my head sometimes, in that where you look at Nwaneri, he's obviously had some great moments and some good games, his initial games in the League Cup. I always think against Inter Milan when he had that cameo off the bench, the goal against Girona, his standout moment would have been when we battered Man City. But you made a crucial point, in that the Leicester away game, was away, right? Yeah, it was. Marino scored. Yeah, it was away. That was like the first 90 minutes, and I might be exaggerating, but the only kind of consistent threat for 90 minutes. So they're the things he needs to get to his game. And for me, I think he just got to spend the sum. I'll be brutally honest. Everything that Ødegaard does in that role, off the ball, just get your thesaurus, get your books, do your tutorials, go and get that. And once you got that, you're unstoppable, man.
Download the plan.
Exactly, because that's the only things I think he's stopping. My hot take was as well, I actually wanted him to get exposed to some minutes on the left-hand side last season just because there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. But it is what it is, man. What would you think it would mean? Go on.
So on that, him playing as if we call it a left-sided 10 for England.
Yeah, man. What we probably think Eze would be if he played off that left for Arsenal. So
in that game, I was just watching him because it was just, okay, it's Ethan watch. He's starting. I'm watching him. And what I saw was basically a lot of double movements to kind of get away from a man. So there'll be times where maybe he'll start to run out to the touchline, but then he'll just stop. The defender's already made that run. Now he's in space. But then also he's the guy coming into the box last. So he's making a well-timed run. He just unfortunately mishit his shot. Otherwise it's a goal and everyone's probably having a completely different conversation about him. I think that in terms of you saying light at the end of the tunnel, I think there are moments where if you play him on that side, he can be the guy that just finishes off a move. Sorry for cutting you. No, man, that's what you're here for. I want to ask you as well, did you obviously
did you ever feel he might be open to leaving? Like, obviously signed a new deal, and there might come a time where you go on loan. Personally, I hope that's not the case. I would point people towards Phil Foden, like how they kind of slow cooked him and what we could do in that regards. But did you feel like maybe he's got a taste of first team football on the cusp of England? It's difficult for a young player, and I know his feet are on the ground at Arsenal and all of that, but it is difficult to go from that to kind of being on the peripheral things again.
Yeah, it's a really kind of interesting one because I think it's quite delicate when you look at how his, I guess, career so far has gone. He's only 18, because
Freshly turned 18, yeah.
There has been that kind of that euphoric high, which is Bukayo Saka getting injured, and that's where his chance comes. But then once Saka's back, the football drops off, or the minutes, I should say, not the football, drops off. So I could kind of understand if there was maybe a temptation elsewhere, because you look at, say, you've got, I guess, the Foden path at Manchester City, but then there's also the Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho path as well. When you look at Germany,
you mentioned it as well, Joe Bellingham as well, to be fair.
Yeah, so I can understand if that was attractive, but I think when you look at Ethan, he's been at Arsenal since the pre-academy, from the area, and I think
it bleeds red.
You could tell the draw was there to stay at Arsenal. He wanted to stay, so I know it's not been confirmed yet, but obviously that's the way it looks like it's going to be. And I remember, so when I spoke to him before the under-21s Euros, he was asked about kind of the challenges of not playing, and he said he didn't take it to heart too much, which was nice to hear, because as I'm sure you know, being on Twitter, everyone and his dog has an opinion, but it was nice to hear what the player himself had to say.
And I think you're right. I mean, when you, I know we live in a day and age where if you're a decent 16, 17-year-old guy, you need to start every week. You're perfect. People forget that you do need a bit of patience. You can run them into the ground, overplaying them. But I kind of sympathize with it, because when you've got Ethan Nwaneri, when you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly, he's 15, 16. But when you've got Max Dowman and even Marley, the centre half, and before we know it, there's a bunch of others. They're all going to develop. And, you know, all it takes is a little goal or a cameo in pre-season, and then people get excited. I want to ask you, though, like, why do you think there's been a reluctance from Arteta to like play him centrally? Do you think it's down to experience because his captain's Odegaard's there? You've had Rice, you've previously had Partey, now got Zubimendi. You've got a couple other guys that could be there. For a young player, you know, it's not too dissimilar to see someone that's probably going to end up as a 10 or an 8 play right wing. We've seen this at Arsenal before. Yeah. I remember Arteta saying he could be a striker. I don't know where we're at with that, but like, what do you think? Why do you think there's a reluctance? Is it just a case that there's stronger options or more experience and it's nothing to do with Nwaneri, or is there something that might be holding Arteta back in your mind?
Yeah, looking back through last season, obviously you had the Odegaard injury in September, October, and November, and I think that's when everyone was, or fans anyway, were hoping it would happen, and it didn't. And at that point, I guess with each week that went on, it became kind of harder to understand.
What's going on, yeah.
Just because it felt like the opportunity was naturally there, because a lot of the talk had been about, I guess, him becoming a pocket player similar to Odegaard, getting into those spaces and making a difference there. And he wasn't kind of thrown in. And my only kind of thoughts around that, okay, maybe the physicality of that position, as you mentioned,
downplay that.
It's not just making a tackle, it's making
the pressing and all that.
It's making the run forward, making the run back, and kind of gluing everything together. I think Mikel Arteta, I think when you look at how Arteta forms his midfields, a lot of it is based off physical output. So
very unangle,
which we'll talk about. So I think it's probably more down to that, and that's also something I think Ethan spoke about in the summer, about an area of his game that he wants to improve. So it's not too surprising, I'd say.
The only thing I'd need for Nwaneri, and I think Saka, if I'm honest, for all great Saka's been great for a number of years now. Like the receipts are there, right? But I wouldn't say he's only just started believing in himself, because obviously you need self-belief, but he's got a bit of that swagger, like he's becoming a bit of a villain type thing. Like Lewis Kelly has that from the jump, in it. Nwaneri's obviously a good lad. Like you can tell obviously he knows he's a good footballer. A man's playing for Arsenal in the Premier League, but you can tell his feet are on the ground. I know he comes from a good family. But I think beyond the obvious things we've been speaking about, once he believes I'm that guy, bro, you got a wonderful left foot. Hayden's laughing.
So that phrase you mentioned is something Omari Hutchinson actually told him. So
see, big up Omari as well.
So England under 21s played Portugal in March, and one of the questions to Omari after the game was, what kind of advice does he give to Ethan? And he said he doesn't really need to give him advice, but he kind of tells him to believe he's that guy.
You're that guy, man.
And I think, to be fair, it all just comes down to different personality types as well, because I think you see in Ethan and Miles, the way Ethan described it was they're the same, but the complete
very
opposite.
Different.
And I get it, because I'm a very introverted person naturally, but that doesn't mean I'm not confident in what I can do. And I think you see it.
And I'm on the Miles Lewis skeleton still.
But I think you see it in Ethan in that cameo against Man City, because I remember I was watching that in the North Bank. I wasn't working that day, but you could see him calling for the ball for like 15 seconds. The ball comes to him. The ball comes to him, and he knows exactly what he's going to do. And then his celebration is just a little shrug. Like, I think he's got that. It's just about seeing it out on a more regular basis.
You're right, man. So that's, and I mean, like Miles Lewis Skelly, me and you have spoken about before, short and sweet. He's living a movie, he's doing great stuff, and long may it continue. Shout Halen, you've probably saved us, give or take. Conservatively, I'd say both of you players are probably rated at what I would say 50 million, probably a lot more. But either way, you've come out of nowhere. Well, you ain't come out of nowhere, but you've had an opportunity and you've ran with it, right? I do want to ask you, as we move it on from players existing, have you got goosebumps yet? Our manager said he gets goosebumps when he thinks about our summer signage. As the Keppers and Norgards and Maduekes, which I'll ask you all about them, but it is giving you goosebumps.
No, not yet. If I'm being honest, the goosebumps are on hold at the minute. To be fair, those guys you just mentioned, all sensible signings. I think when you look at Kepa, he's better than Neto, so cool, fine. Norgard, I think experienced player. Brentford, really, really good club. Cool with that as well, especially when you get into those 3 game weeks. Zubimendi,
plug him in and play with him.
Yeah, Zubimendi, I'm interested to see how that functions. I mean, we're almost 3/4 of the way through July and we still haven't started pre-season yet. So I'm just waiting to see what that midfield actually looks like in action. Then who is it? Madueke. That one. So it's weird because I'm not like over the moon about it, because my thing was, surely there's someone of similar or maybe even better talent in Europe that you could get for.
Without breaking the bank, not really breaking the bank, but paying for him respectfully too.
Yeah. So that's where my mind was at. And again, you'll know that's a very, I guess, Wenger way of looking at things. But I think when you're looking at the situation Arsenal were in, you wanted someone on the wing who could provide backup for Saka, but also you need more dribblers. Like
Ball carriers, he's got that.
And yeah, I'd be interested to see how often he's actually used off the left as well, because I don't know, I just feel like Arsenal can utilize direct touchline wingers a lot more on, I guess, instead of having wingers that come inside on their stronger foot, actually going around the outside. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with him as well.
Do you think he's going to cut a career on left wing? Because admittedly, I am struggling to make sense of it. Because on one hand, I understand if people say, "Oh, you want Saka back up, and we got one, and you're crying about the price." You could argue that the fact that it's 50 million is not an issue. It's the fact that it's the fact that, like you said in your article, it's the Chelsea stench essentially. We're buying someone away from Chelsea, and we're kind of under pressure now. We want to see every signing to us normal fans look like it makes sense. Like we'll get onto Eze and Gyokeres potentially, but you can see how they mix and blend. So I feel those things are are harsh to Madueke. I think Madueke deserves everyone's support. By all means, you don't have to be for or against it. Once the man puts on a shirt, support the guy. I'm not a fan of the petition stuff. Fortunately, that's a couple thousands to a club that's followed by millions. And to be honest with you, there's only three people's opinions with Madueke that really matters. He needs to believe in himself. The gaffer needs to believe in him. And then obviously it's down to God, innit? So we bank on that. If he's in the mix, because as you made a point of 3 games a week, 3 games in 10 days, twice a week. If he's in the mix, great. But for me, it's another one for me where if you're going to be a rotation option for Saka, then I get it. If it's off the left, then I hope it works. But at this moment in time, I don't know. Are you better than a fit Gabriel Jesus off the left? Are you better than Martinelli? Are you better than Trossard? Or are you a bit of the same? Because I do think, bro, when you like separate our team into 3 parts, I think I'd say I've got the most confidence in our defensive unit, including Raya in that. Midfield is kind of calm. Obviously, I haven't seen Zubimendi play for Arsenal, but I rate him. Up front, I don't think we've got bad players. But if it's not really Bukayo Saka, we're Uman and Arin. Obviously, Havertz has scored a lot of goals for our club, but we need a striker. Marino's done his thing up there. And we're kind of at where we're at with Martinelli. So it's like, if he does play on the left, if he is going to play on the left, like, how do you see that working? And you know what? Do you actually feel we're going to sign 3 attackers? So like you'd have your Gyokeres, your Madueke, and someone else. Or do you think it's them 2? Because I'm starting to believe it's a Madueke Gyokeres thing, bro.
Personally, I think there's still room for 3. And in terms of like how I see it, if he is off the left, I'd see that more of if, say, it's a Gyokeres and Havertz thing up front, a 4-4-2, and you're looking to be a bit more direct, then you can use Madueke off the left, because you can have kind of, I guess, Gyokeres stretching, and then Havertz as that kind of option in the hole, and then Saka's always going to, most of the time, Saka's going to start off the right. And I think, Arsenal, there have been times where, say, Martinelli last season where he played off the right, I thought it just gives you a different dynamic. And I think those friendlies at the Emirates before the season starts are probably going to be Madueke's first minutes. So that's when you'll properly see how Arteta will want to kind of use him. But I think if you're looking at him, you're just going to need him to be versatile and available.
The main thing available. And to be honest with you, away from the obvious, what Mikel Arteta says, a bit of it is what managers say, a bit of it is like his actual thoughts. But he keeps, in my opinion, he keeps talking about availability. Every now and again, he keeps dropping availability. And I saw my brother Tomiyasu, I wanted to give you one last season. It's dark, innit? Wish him all the best. It's dark.
I want to run to him.
Yeah, man. For one more season, keep the gang together. But I understand it, innit? I want to ask you, like, as it stands, like the left wing, like who, in fact, better yet, the front 3, I'll help you, Saka. So as it stands right now, what is our front 3 for you?
All right. So Saka right wing, if Gyokeres comes in, Gyokeres up front.
Naturally.
And then that left wing is up for grabs, I'd say.
Gun to your head, who are you going with?
Of the players we have, or
the
Arsenal have right now.
Yeah. So we got Saka, we got Gyokeres. Left wing, you could do whatever you want there. I can't believe it's this difficult.
I mean, Trossard's probably the most reliable.
Fair.
I'd say. But that doesn't mean, like, I wouldn't sacrifice him, if that makes sense. If he had to go this summer, then I think Arsenal, that's probably, he's the most valuable asset that would be kind of acceptable to sell, if that makes sense.
Because I can't see us selling Martinelli. It's all fun and games, fans saying sell him for 40, 50, 60, maybe even 70 odd million. And I understand you spent 6 million on him, it's a profit. But I'm sure he counts as homegrown, which Madueke doesn't. At this moment in time, like, we've seen it's between Trossard or Martinelli. Like Madueke is involved, but he's irrelevant because you haven't been at the club, innit? It's kind of give or take. I still think Martinelli's the first choice, in which I do feel we're upgrading, but it's sideways at times.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. When you're looking at that kind of area of the pitch, for the past kind of 18 months, there's always been a craving for more. And that's why we're in this
from those, man.
That's why we're in this kind of discussion right now. I think the thing with Trossard is, you're going to get some numbers from him.
Whether it's goals or assists, Martinelli, Madueke, I don't know. Jesus might be the best option off the left of them all, but when is he fit?
Exactly. And this is the other thing. I feel like there's been moments where I guess everything you plan on paper has been fine. Jesus is an outstanding footballer who allows you to play with freedom that Arsenal haven't had for almost 80% of the last couple of seasons.
Very long time.
It just hamstrings you so much. We can say the same about Tomiyasu at fullback. So, yeah, I think when you're kind of looking at those areas of the pitch, it's just about finding those players who you can rely on.
And that's the thing. We need reliability and availability. So that's where, for me, I understand. Listen, you know me. Me and you have talked I've known you for a few years. I love all the young players and stars of tomorrow and what they could be and all of this. And I don't want that to stop. I just feel in attack. I hope it works for Madueke. Obviously, he plays for Arsenal. I hope it bangs. I hope Trossard and Martinelli, if they're here, and everybody, it all bangs. But I think we needed more sure bets. Now, God forbid, but we could sign Gyokeres and Gyokeres could flop. But at least in my mind, we're bringing you in to kind of be competing with Haaland and Salah and all these guys for the golden boots. We all know what Saka brings to the table. I kind of wanted that off the left. That cues me to ask you, yeah. Then I have to ask, man. Like, what's going on with this Gyokeres thing, man? Like, what minute his bonuses? He's leaving his wife. His removal companies. What is going on? Like, what sense can you make of it for us fans? Because I'm telling my subscribers, stay calm, patient, all this stuff. They're not trying to hear it now, man.
To be honest, I think that sentiment is the right sentiment. What was, I guess, more annoying was it wasn't done before they flew away to Asia for the tour, which I understand, I guess, the frustrations with that. But I think with everything, it's still kind of Arsenal in a good place, I would say, for that to get over the line.
Moving like a burned X, man. Just let it go. Let it go.
My I guess ideal scenario would be, it would kind of be like the Zinchenko signing, because I don't know if people remember that, but Jesus signed before the tour that summer.
And Zinchenko linked up when we was in America.
Yeah, Zinchenko joined and I think played his first game against Chelsea, which was a 4-0 win. And I think that was the first time Arteta played that 11 that everyone kind of remembers from the 22-23 season.
What season that was until the end? What's the leaving?
Honestly, Tomiyasu got injured in the same game as well.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah. It's dark sometimes being an Arsenal fan.
So yeah, I would hope that would be the ideal scenario. I think, but yeah, I think with Gyokeres as well, he was one where, when the whole saga between him and Sesko was going on, I couldn't be asked to actually think about either one of them, because
just get me a striker now.
But now that I've actually watched him a bit more, I think what I'm actually encouraged by most is he looks like more than just this battering ram. Like, I think he's kind of been miscast, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. He's got a lot more to him beyond goals. You can't escape it when you've got like 50 odd goals and 97 goals in 102 sporting games. But he pulls out to the channels. He drops deep. He can hit penalties and free kicks. He's a baller. He's very intelligent.
And one thing I'd say in terms of him and whether he's able to play with Havertz, I was looking back through his assists as well.
You know Arteta's going to run that, bro.
And he's got at least 10 assists in the last 3 successive seasons in all competitions. And a lot of those assists are channel runs, cutbacks. So it's all about not just, I guess, one player making that run, but the others following and supporting as well. So I think there's a player there that can contribute, whether it's with the goals or with the assists as well.
I got a bit of two questions in one. Obviously, you follow these things as part of your work and the whole Sesko stuff. Leipzig are playing hardball, but just forget all of that for a sec. Did it surprise you that we're actually on the brink? And I know fans don't want to hear it, but we're on the brink of getting a Gyokeres. Because for me, one thing that excites me about it is I do think Arteta can play the same way, but I think he's forced to kind of change. I think this is his Haaland moment. People are going to see that and go, oh, DG's comparing Gyokeres to Haaland. I hope that could be a factor, but I am not saying that. It's just he has to meet him halfway. He can do 50% of what he's required to do, and then you've got to play him in his own way. I don't think his general play is necessarily going to be up to par with the little cameos we saw. Well, the purple running the team from Marino or Jesus and this one and that guy, but he's going to give us something different. Like, did it shock you we went from as well? Especially because of who he kind of is and because we was linked with Sesko for many years and you can see how he ties into it.
Yeah.
And also there's the fact that he's 27, which is 90.
Yeah, so early on, I was Sesko seemed to make a lot more sense, which is what you're saying there. I think the style of play and everything like that, the age, the fact that he'd been tracked for a while. But with Gyokeres, as you mentioned, I think Arsenal need to evolve. That attack needs to evolve. One thing I felt quite often last season, might be harsh to say, is boredom at times. Sat watching the game, and all of the game is in the middle third of the pitch. No, maybe there's the odd run in behind, but it's not.
We need new life, man. It's quite that scripted and predictable, if we're honest.
Exactly.
Like, that point now.
So I think having someone who's actually going to make those runs, hopefully those runs are seen and actually those passes are played in behind. Zubimendi looking at you. I think
he's going to change our lives, man.
Ben White actually is someone who plays those passes quite a lot anyway.
He loves it.
So I think that's something where Arsenal can really kind of benefit from and see their game improve. But as you mentioned, it's probably going to be a case of Arsenal coming towards Gyokeres and Gyokeres needing to come towards what Arsenal do a bit more as well. I did actually speak to... actually, I won't say that.
I know a lot of people. Stars.
No.
Gyokeres is aging. He told us.
No. I'll tell you after. But I think also part of it will be, okay, which side of the relationship kind of works the best, and going with that as well in real time, because who knows, it might be a case of actually Gyokeres works better doing what Arsenal are doing or have been doing.
But as long as he puts the ball back in the net, like that's it. Because I don't think we've got bad strikers, but I've said this to you before. I feel sorry for the strikers in the modern day, but also my football club, because we can all understand we live in that weird world now where David Raya is our first attacker because of his ball playing skills. Our first defender is, if it's not Odegaard, it's gonna be Gyokeres, isn't it? Like, you got to press, you got to work the channels, you got to be a battering ram, you got to fight the centre backs. You still need to get into the box. What if you only get 2 chances? It's all mad, isn't it? So I do understand it. It is difficult, but goals, man. Like 14 draws last season. It wasn't just down to our ability to score goals, but if we assumed 14 of those get all 14 was 7. If we just turn that into half and we have 7 wins from that, what are we talking about? And that's for me where we need to go from now. We need to stop going from the hindsights and coulda, woulda, shoulda, and actually realize stuff. And it would be a statement because it's completely different. I do have to ask you though, do you think? Obviously, we know it's a collaborative sign and all of that, but when Berta walked in, we heard he's a big fan of Gyokeres. It wasn't that Arteta wasn't a fan of Gyokeres, but we're led to believe either Mikel Arteta likes Sesko, or that's just something the club have been putting into place. It's like Arthur says here, it feels like Berta's and Gyokeres is a Berta signing. Do you share that sentiment? Because many of our fans are feeling that kind of way.
Yeah, I think it's probably more likely that in a case of Arteta maybe needing some convincing around it. And I think, to be fair, I was the same. Like, I needed to be convinced. And to be fair, I have been. But yeah, I think when you're looking at the way the summer's kind of evolved, you can see it wasn't just a plan A and going all out for plan A.
You saw where that left us.
it didn't pan out like that. It was very much okay, one or the other, and I think everyone kind of saw that happen in real time. Obviously, Leipzig's demands kind of helped things go one way, but I think you can clearly see that it was a work in progress as the summer kind of progressed. Oh, didn't mean to say progress twice there, but yeah, I think it's quite obvious.
I know that I'm probably reaching, but could it be a case of this Gyokeres deal is struggling because it seems like Isaac's getting itchy feet from Newcastle? Could there be another spinning disc?
I wish. That's the main reason I needed convincing, because I had my number one target.
It's just a match in heaven, Isaac.
That would have been unbelievable, but I'm not really sure how realistic that is at the minute, I'd say.
And then this is it, yeah. Now I'm dream chasing, man. Speaking of realistic, yeah. Speaking of realistic, like obviously we're led to believe that maybe 3 attackers come in. I don't know if Madueke makes it 4, or Madueke or an Eze, who we'll get into, makes it 4. But I'm led to believe you're going to get your Gyokeres, you've got your Madueke. I'm not sure on the third one, but early on to kick start this summer, we was linked with Eze and Rodrygo. Let's just focus on Rodrygo for a sec. Like,
okay,
in your heart, do you think that's happening, or do you think we could do it?
If I had to pick between one of those two,
yeah, but you're South London lad, you're gonna be biased, man. The bias is gonna come out, man. I already know you're gonna say Eze.
Bro, it's not just that. Both born in June '98 as well.
See.
But yeah. So that's one. So Club World Cup, he wasn't being played at all.
Which was mad.
Really. So yeah, I think obviously the kind of squad building in terms of options has been done mostly, and then I think what you're really needing to look at now is how well can Berta sell as well, because you've got who's on tour: Zinchenko, Nelson,
all the players that need to cut apart from Fabio.
Yeah, Vieira's not there, so I think that's where you need to see some movement as well to kind of allow more things to happen. But I think when Gyokeres is done, you have most of the foundations there, and then if you're dropping in another attacker, hopefully it shouldn't be that much of a jar, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not sure Rodrygo would be my first choice.
So then I have to ask you, do you think there's a reality we can get Eze and Rodrygo? Obviously, a lot of dominoes need to fall into place, but that would be goosebumps.
Yeah, I think that would be mad. Just because when you look at the outlay that's already been spent this summer. So you had about 60 on Zubimendi, another 50-ish on Madueke. So that's north of 100 already. Add 10 for Norgard, 120. So yeah, I think Eze's release clause is around 68 million. Obviously, Arsenal would prefer to pay less than that because he's in his final 2 years. If it was me, I'd just do it.
If it was me, you gotta find it.
And then Rodrygo, you're probably looking at north of what you pay for Eze. So I think that would be quite that would be goosebumps, because it's just an outlay that I'm not sure Arsenal have even got close to.
And when you throw in Gyokeres, we'll be like, okay, this is the goosebumps.
Yeah.
Maybe Arteta's considering playing Gyokeres on the left and Havertz through the middle. That's his goosebumps. But this would be us. Like, I don't know. Arteta's a madman. I don't know if that's me.
To be fair, on Gyokeres, I was watching some bits for research, and Olof Mellberg, so the old Aston Villa
centre half, innit?
That was one of his first head coaches in Sweden, and he was actually a left winger, and Mellberg converted him into a striker.
Yeah, Arteta, listen to Mellberg. Forget the left wing. Forget the left wing. Just listen to Mellberg. The guy's a bully. Slap him up front. But you're right, though. I think it'd be wishful thinking for me to assume we'll get Rodrygo and Eze. I think both are kind of very difficult. Maybe Arsenal have spoken to Eze's agent and said we'll spin the block for you. I'm not even gonna. I just think too much has to happen for Rodrygo, and it's gonna come down to money. You could argue this has never been a better time for either Arsenal or someone to sign Eze because he's got 2 years left on his deal. It sounds dumb, but he's 27 this year. He's 28 the next year. If he runs out his deal, he's 29. The chance might go in it, and he's won an FA Cup and whatnot. I do want to ask you though, if we sign Eze, like, where does he start for Arsenal? Because for me, I think he's genuine competition for Odegaard. Obviously, I think we're not going to see it, but piggybacking off what you said earlier, you might see a Zubimendi or Rice, only one of them, and you've got rotating. You've got rotating eights. Left wing, I think he could do that, but I don't think he will do that for Arsenal Football Club. So it's like, if we do buy him, do you see him as a starter? Do you think he will start? Like, where are you thinking at with that? I have to ask.
I think the whole debate around the left wing situation with someone who's that good at football, it should not matter.
Just make it happen, man.
I think when you see the way he plays football, it's so different to everyone else in the Premier League, and it's not just about okay, can you go on the outside and the inside? He can do that. It's fine. He actually plays with a flow that I don't think anyone at Arsenal does. And that will naturally open things up. So for me, I'm not too concerned on what position he would play. It's about just getting him on the pitch. Of course, it doesn't have to be. Well, yeah, exactly. Get that done first. But yeah, I think that's my opinions on it. It doesn't have to be okay, everyone has to have a specific kind of exact thing that they do.
It's the very thing we want to get out of.
Yeah, so more Wenger-like stuff is what I want, basically. And he reminds me of that kind of era a lot.
Of course, in these kind of players in, man. If Wenger was here, low blocks wouldn't be an issue. Shout out Arteta, man. Like, bro, Nwaneri would be there, Odegaard be there, like, would be, Lewis Kelly somehow there. It could be mad. Zinni, just fuck it, just slap Zinni on the pitch. It could be mad. That's the thing, though, man. Like, I don't really care where he starts, and I don't think Arteta would necessarily have him down as a true winger. But I do think there's an element like what you're touching on,
also,
us overcomplicating stuff. Go on.
Also, on that, I think there's probably worlds where if you're playing him on the left, then Calafiore gives you the natural width.
Exactly, that would need to happen.
So it's like, I think there are ways where, as you just said, I think people overcomplicate things too much. Sometimes people are good at football, and
just make it work. And for me as well, yeah, like, no disrespect to Madueke, because I want to see you do well, but at this, and obviously you could sign Eze or Rodrygo and they could be flops, they could be worse than Madueke. But with Madueke, I'm betting a lot on Mikel Arteta's coaching. Madueke's want to prove something. He's got the potential. You need to realize that. If I just look at us needing to win now, get over the line now, kind of thing, I know Eze's future might not be as a left winger, but I believe, and I'm not the manager. If Eze walked in the door tomorrow, you're better than the left wingers we've got. You're probably better off the right than all these guys that can play off the right. That is a kind of statement. That's the kind of goosebumps I'm looking for, if I'm very honest with you. Then I got to ask you about Javi Simmons. Obviously, it seems like since we've gone live, he's been aggressively linked with Chelsea, but the Romanos and all these guys of this world, they've linked us with Xavi Simmons. Allegedly, he was offered to Arsenal by the same agent that helped facilitate the Madueke deal. He also offered us Nicholas Jackson. Like, where are you at with Xavi Simmons? Like, do you think he's good? Do you think he's overrated? Like, do you think he's the answer? Pretend Eze don't exist, because I know once we didn't talk about Eze, Xavi Simmons ain't the guy again.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. The answer, I'm not 100% sure. And it comes down to a similar thing we spoke about with Nwaneri, and it's just the physical factor. But I think he's probably, if you were looking at him, you'd want him more in those advanced central areas than just shutting it out on the left. Because I'd be more confident in, say, Eze just making something happen out there than Simmons. In terms of the links, I'm not sure exactly on that, because I haven't actually seen what you just mentioned. But he's a good player, obviously. And I think, how old is he now?
24, 23, 24.
Let me Google it.
It's about time he does his thing.
He's
DG has Simmons really potential. What did you say?
He's still only 22 years old.
Oh, so he's even younger. He's younger than Madueke. I'm discrediting him a bit. Feels like he's been on the scene for a while. To be fair, probably has.
But also, positive thing with him, I saw someone in the chat mention that Eze has not played European football in the Champions League. He's been playing in the Champions League for a few seasons now. So you've got a different kind of caliber of player there as well.
No, you are right, man. But like Saka weren't playing Champions League, he had to learn on the job. And even though these things are factors, at the end of the day, it's just football. If you're a baller, do baller stuff, man. Like Lewis Kelly didn't kick a ball in the Champions League, much less for Arsenal prior to this season. I'm pretty sure if we was in a Champions League final today, everybody started Miles Lewis Kelly at left back. So I hear it, but everyone's got to start somewhere, bro. Everyone's got to be exposed to that. I do think there's an element of nitpicking. Like what does that happen? Like how? Because you played in hostile championship environments. You're playing in the Premier League. You played for England now. You can handle pressure. You can react to bad moments. Bearing in mind, Eze almost wasn't a footballer. I'm sure he was going to college and working in Tesco's, and he had several trials. So he's got that bit of adversity. It's not the same, but it's a bit like Gyokeres. Gyokeres, brightened by players from all over the world, all the continents. It didn't work for you there. You made your name at Coventry. Oh, you can do it in the Championship. You've gone to Portugal. Oh, it's Portuguese League. You've got those moments. Odegaard had a bit of it as well. I know it's not the best of example because he's more of a gentler soul, but I'm on that. For me, with Javi Simmons, I like him. I'd be gassed if we got him. I just don't think you got the consistency levels, and I just don't know where you fit in. Beyond, obviously, you're a good player, being able to fill in multiple roles, similar to Eze. Is that I can see the angle with Eze, like I can see it with Gyokeres. And I think in the attack, bro, I just think these things have to make more sense now. We've moved away from doing things that don't make sense.
Apart from Madueke. Sorry.
Trust the gaffer, man. Fadiki, I got man. We're calling him Madueke that now. Like I was telling my friend today, I was like, I'm not bantering Chelsea players anymore because we end up signing them. Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, Madueke. Oh, you know what? Cole Palmer's rubbish. Caicedo's rubbish. Start putting it into the universe. You never know what could happen in this game. Like, I wanted to ask you as well, like obviously. A lot of our future transfer business for what's left of the window is around the striker. So we get a striker, we get another attacking option in the Ezes or whatever. Do you think there's any unconventional areas we might go for? Because for me, I'm not against another left back. If I'm honest with you, we're buying Chelsea players. Might as well buy another left back and do what we've done every summer. Might as well do it properly.
Yeah, I think left back's a good shout when you kind of plan ahead. When you're looking at how can that squad develop? Miles, you mentioned earlier, I think, of course, he's a left back for now, but there's going to be a point, I think, where he moves back into.
We have to see him in midfield organically.
In midfield. And with that, you've got Calafiori, hopefully moves Zinchenko on this summer. So left back can be that kind of next area for kind of experimentation, I guess. Obviously, I think if you're looking at this window, Mosquera probably fits that bill in terms of being that Saliba backup. But also, when you look at the way he's been used in the past 2 seasons, I think half of his time has been spent at right centre-back. The other half has been as a left centre-back. And then he's also played a little bit at right-back too. So you've got someone there who's very versatile.
Arteta's track record with defenders is quite promising, if any area of the pitch. Gabriel Magalhaes, best case study.
Yeah, 100%. So I think those areas, when you're looking further forward, you'll probably find it up front for now. But my thing, and I think I can't remember who I mentioned this to, but obviously, say when we were growing up, we were used to seeing a kind of striking group of 4. So maybe let's say it was Henry, Bergkamp, Wiltord, Carnu.
And United had plenty of examples.
Yeah, Van Persie, Adebayor, Eduardo, Bentner. Obviously, it's very different because they were always playing 2 up front, or most of the time playing 2 up front. But I'd like to see someone in that younger bracket, say maybe when it's time for Jesus to move on, to kind of go on that.
He had one. He ran off to Man United.
He did. But someone almost at that apprenticeship age.
That protege.
Yeah.
Like a
I'd like
Liam
to see
Delap. I'm
that.
not to disrespect Liam Delap, but like a Liam Delap if we had a Gyokeres. Or better yet, it's a bit different, but like Sesko and Gyokeres is an extreme example, but I hear it.
Yeah, something like that. I would I think could work well, but I think that would probably be something for the future.
Yeah, and we got a lot that we need to do now. Let me ask you a couple of questions before we get out of here, my boy. I'd be happy with Rafa Leao, if not Rodrygo. What do you guys think? At this point, beggars can't be choosers, but Leao's another one that I like him. I like what you could be, and I like the potential, but a bit like Javi Simmons, I think you're a shiny new toy. I'm not seeing anything beyond that, but where are you at with that?
Yeah, I actually quite like Leao a lot. But again, I think he's one where how he plays, he's just more pleasing on the eye than Rodrygo, in my opinion. I think when you see his ability to go both ways, very decisive in his actions, and also he has the height as well. So he's someone that I think
Lovely rule tools.
I think I'd actually prefer him to Rodrygo, if I'm being totally honest.
You're acting Brazilian, Rodrygo.
Sorry. Do you really like Rodrygo?
I like Rodrygo. You're Brazilian. It's enough. Like I know. I think
just see the passport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the passport Brazilian. Like you never have to play against Lewis Skelly again. Obviously, you're the one Real Madrid attacker that actually likes defending. Arteta will love that. You could be a main man. Obviously, I don't know if there's naturally going to be concerns about adaptability to the league, physicality. I don't want to make it about numbers, and I'm a hypocrite because for the 56 minutes I've been crying about play people with numbers. I don't feel he's really had strong goal scoring seasons. You could obviously caveat that with you've never been in your position, never been the main guy, but Rodrygo thing, man. I like Leao. I think Leao's got more of the tools to thrive on paper in the Premier League. He's very good on the transition. Kind of the reasons we're going for Madueke is why we should get Leao, if I'm honest.
Wait. Let me address this recent comment.
Oh, don't listen to this guy, man. He's trolling all the time. Don't listen to this guy, man. He does it to me. Don't listen to SLD, man.
Honestly, to be fair, when you look at Arsenal at the minute, I think Gabriel Magalhaes is probably one of my favorite players. So
I come a long way. People telling me, "Oh, when Arteta's going to replace him out the side, he's the next one to be X'd out. Pablo Mari's better than him." Shut up, allow it, man. I want to ask you one last question from the chat. I don't want to take out your time. Where is it, man? There was I had it up, man. Oh, it's a shag. It's a shag. There was a question about execute. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Do you think Arsenal should have lined up all their ducks in a row during the season and now in transfer window just execute? I definitely feel that way, but that would have meant I think they mean we got Sesko, but I want Gyokeres. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think it's one where you kind of have to look at the reality of the situation. So Arsenal started the season with Edu as the sporting director. That's where I guess a lot of the Sesko tracking and stuff, if you're looking at backlogs and stuff, that would have been done. And as we mentioned earlier, Berta comes in and there's more of a sway towards Gyokeres. So I don't think it's as simple as saying just get your ducks in the line and shoot. But they were able to do that because they moved quite early with Zubimendi, and we're talking not just during last season, but beyond that as well. So that's one case where I think they were able to kind of get their ducks in a row and bow.
To be brutally honest, I think that comment was a bit harsh because I like, by all means, if Arsenal do something that you think's great, praise. If it goes left, shaky. I know fans are peed off with January, let alone last summer. But I just think every club, whether we think our club or other clubs do good business or not, naturally, I think they go into the market knowing who they want to going for and act upon. Obviously, sometimes a player you thought's available is not available. A player that you thought wasn't available has become available, and there's spanners in the works. But the bulk of the business, like Norgard as a pivot, if something goes with Partey. Kepa's been identified to some sort of a degree. Zubimendi feels like he's been a player for about 11 years. It would have been Sesko. We've pivoted to a Gyokeres. So it'd be interesting. And I don't believe Madueke personally is any market opportunity or anything of that ilk. I think they genuinely wanted him. So make it work, man. We're going to back it, and we need to win a title, man. Where can they find you, my boy?
Twitter at Art de Roche.
Twitch as well.
Yeah, Twitch. I haven't been on consistently for the past year or so, but I'm trying to return to that as well. Usually Football Manager or some like PS2 games and stuff. So
yeah, you love a retro game.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for having me again.
No, thank you, man. Like I said, you know, I'm normally big up my chat and SDL. We're not normally graced with people that get to speak to Nwaneri and Mikel Arteta and this and that. People, when I went to the press room at Arsenal, yeah, this guy knows everyone. Like, Rod, this is Bishi. I see, oh, people, he's a legend in there. Big up Primi as well, man. Oh man. But yeah, he doesn't hate Brazilians, man. But yeah, don't mind, man. He's this is a mad you, like, you know.
I've got Brazil shirt under my bed. I can get out if you want, but
you're gonna need that for next year, man. We're winning 2026. We're winning it. People think Martinelli's gonna have a bad season. I'm gonna say it here. It's a World Cup year. You think my Brazilians are not gonna rise up? Football gifted Messi a World Cup. It has to give Thiago Silva and Neymar one. You see what Rafinha's doing. Watch 2026. Football's back, the real football. FUTBOL is back, real football. None of this heat maps crap, man.
On that quickly, playmakers coming back. Shirky, wow.
Yeah, until it gets coached out of him. Someone that should be at Arsenal. Till it's coached out of him, man. But no, do you know what? I think we're probably gonna have to wait about 5 years, man. I just think football's in cycles. As you lightly touched on, we live in a day where it's systemic football, and then you got to be dynamic runners. Like, I'm exaggerating with this year, but I feel like in the early 2000s, probably more. You actually, not that you didn't have to be a good footballer. These guys are not good footballers, but I think you had to have a great technical level. Obviously, physicality helps. Now I think, yeah, you could be. You know, obviously, if you was an average academy footballer, to the normal person, you're an amazing baller in it. But like, just that, if you was part of that, I think you can, like, if you put up everything like passing, all the technical aspects, I think you can hit 5 6s out of 10. But you see, if you've got that and you're a 20 out of 10 athlete, I personally think the world's your oyster now. You know, I genuinely think that's where we're at, man. But I'd be interested.
I agree. Sad state of affairs, man.
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, man. But yeah, big up the Black David Dunstein. He told you where he can find you. I'll get him back home when we've got something to speak about. But my guy, enjoy your evening. Appreciate that. Big up the chat as well. I'm back at 4:15. So yeah, we're out. Any last words, Black David Dunstein? Gyokeres in London? Anything?
No. Just thank you, guys, for tuning in. Like the video, and hopefully see you again soon.
Come on, like the man said, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. We're out. Peace. Always